Welcome back, everybody, to Entertainment Tonight from London. Now, in just 1 week, Prince Harry is expected to return here for a charity event that also coincides with the 3-year anniversary of the Queen's death. But will it be a royal reunion?
Well, I think there's a chance for a reconciliation. The idea that we're going to see Prince Harry back on that balcony, representing the royal family overseas, or doing any royal work in an official capacity, I think it's out of the
Prince
question.
Harry, who has returned to the UK to attend the Well Child Awards in London. Today he's been to Windsor Castle, where he laid a wreath and privately paid respect to the late Queen, who passed 3 years ago to this day. Well, should King Charles grant Prince Harry, the prodigal prince, a royal audience? Let's get the views of the leading royal commentator and author, Lady Colin Campbell. Lady Colin Campbell, do you think the King should meet Harry?
Absolutely not.
He was so concerned that he spoke to Spencer about changing their name because he thought that might speed things up. This gets even more strange. So Harry wanted the HRHs for the children to be included in their passports. And, according to this report in The Guardian, he wants their children to have the option, when they're older, of being full-time working royals. He wants them to be able to choose. So even though Harry and Meghan have quit royal duties, you know, and they're now making and everything.
The question remains, should King Charles grant his estranged son an audience? We asked royal commentator Lady Colin Campbell. Her answer? Absolutely not. She insists any meeting would be a serious mistake. Meanwhile, reports suggest Harry pushed for HRH on his children's passports and wants them to retain the option of being working royals in adulthood. Even though Harry and Meghan stepped away, he apparently hopes Archie and Lilibet might later choose royal duties. That move has reignited palace tensions. What was meant as a quiet family visit quickly looked like a power struggle, with Charles refusing entry for the children. Rumors swirl about custody maneuvers, and Meghan's silence only fuels speculation.
Make of this?
Well, I think we're all hoping it's not going to be a royal rejection because, of course, you have to remember that Harry has not seen his father for about 20 months now.
One of the big headlines that we're seeing today is that William thinks this idea of a meeting or a reconciliation is a terrible idea.
The King is very open to a reconciliation, but trust is absolutely key to that. Prince William is...
Yeah, so Richard Eden put together a great timeline on the Daily Mail about this, because I think that we forget that Harry and Meghan specifically told media at the time of Archie's birth that they didn't want to give him a title. They didn't want him to have any of the pomp because they wanted him to live a life as normal.
Even when Will and Kate came over and I had met her for the first time, they came over for dinner. I remember I was in ripped jeans and I was barefoot. It's like I was a hugger. I've always been a hugger. I didn't realize that that is really jarring for a lot of Brits.
Campbell, do you think the King should meet Harry?
Absolutely not. I think it would be a fatal error to meet Harry. There's no reason why he should. It's not going to work in his favour. It's not going to work in favour of Prince William. I think it would.
Royal experts note Harry hasn't seen his father in nearly 2 years. Headlines say William opposes any reconciliation. While Charles might be open, trust is central and William has little interest in mending fences. History adds more context. At Archie's birth, Harry and Meghan declined titles, saying they wanted him to live normally. Yet later, Meghan accused the palace of denying one. These contradictions resurface now. Lady Colin Campbell doubled down, warning that a private meeting could be twisted later, and recalled Camilla's presence during a previous brief meeting to safeguard against misrepresentation.
Can we talk a little bit about Meghan, because she just shared some new pictures of Archie and Lilibet behind the scenes and season 2 of her new Netflix series that just started with Love Meghan. Can you talk about how the second season of her series has been received here in the UK?
Do you know who doesn't like Love?
Harry's return lacked warmth. His request to bring the children into Buckingham Palace was denied, fueling speculation about custody positioning. Meghan remained silent, a move some call strategic, letting Harry take the blows. She instead released new footage of Archie and Lilibet in her Netflix series with Love Meghan, alongside a tribute to her late rescue dog. The children's voices were heard for the first time, offering rare glimpses of family life. Still, Meghan's absence from Harry's UK trip spoke loudly. Analysts believe she's avoiding involvement, perhaps saving her story for future projects, whether a new deal, an interview, or another memoir.
Thank you.
Hello, Mom. Breakfast time. Go.
Do you think the King should meet with Harry?
Absolutely not. I think it would be a fatal error to meet Harry. There's no reason why he should. It's not going to work in his favour. It's not going to work in favour of Prince William. I think it would be a gross error because anything that's happened in the meeting could be twisted, unless, of course, there would be a witness, as there was at the last meeting, the 12-minute meeting at Clarence House, when the Queen, the present Queen, Camilla, made sure that she was in the room the whole time. No, there's no advantage to meeting with Harry.
Meanwhile, Harry's position worsens. Once the people's prince, he now finds doors firmly shut. Charles's rejection symbolized not just a father's decision but the crown protecting itself. The palace gates didn't quietly close, they slammed shut. Silence from royals spoke volumes. Harry's memoir has lost momentum, interviews feel repetitive, and public interest has waned. Social media mocked the notion he could rejoin seamlessly. To many, his attempts looked desperate, like clawing for relevance. Even in America, his shine dims. Meghan, more cautious, plays the long game, staying clear of controversy.
Harry and Meghan are actually playing a very nasty game at the moment. They are trying to be as divisive as possible in terms of damaging not only the King's reputation, but William's reputation, the relationship between William and the King, and just generally casting the royal family into a no-win.
Here's the kick.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Can I get you both to look into the camera here? That's great. This way, please.
Yes, he has the sweetest temperament. He's really calm and.
I don't know where he gets that from.
Yeah, and he's just been the dream. So it's been a special couple days.
Insiders claim the passport issue deepened mistrust. Delays led Harry to fear an establishment stitch-up. Reports suggest he even considered altering the family name. His push for HRH titles underlines his aim for his children's potential royal future. Yet the crown is wary. Allowing the children into the palace raises complicated questions about legitimacy, succession, and inheritance, issues the monarchy wants to keep buried. Charles's refusal was swift and final. No entry, no privileges, not even for grandchildren.
Archie and Lilibet's voices have been heard for the first time in a new family video.
Please, God. My phone.
He's not gonna fall. Don't you worry. Mama has him.
Good job!
God. Oh, yes, we do.
We love you,
God.
And we'll be true. When you're not near us, we're blue.
Harry and Meghan shared a heartfelt tribute video to Markle's late beagle, Guy, her rescue dog who recently passed away just before appearing in her new Netflix show. Within the video, the couple included adorable snippets of their children with the dog, and it's the first time their voices have been heard.
Please, God. My phone. God. Oh, yes, we do.
Meghan adopted Guy in 2015 in Canada, from a kill shelter in Kentucky, where he had just days left to live. In her video, she penned "In memory of Guy" and encouraged viewers to adopt, not shop.
Observers suggest Harry's strategy may backfire, widening his rift with Meghan. If custody disputes arise, he may try proving his children's UK ties. Legal experts already speculate on his motives. The narrative becomes darker. California versus the Crown. Meghan would fight to keep the children in the US, while Harry pushes them toward Britain. The stakes extend beyond family drama into international and legal dimensions.
Even when Will and Kate came over, and I had met her for the first time they came over for dinner, I remember I was in ripped jeans and I was barefoot. It's like I was a hugger. I've always been a hugger. I didn't realize that that is really jarring for a lot of Brits. I guess I'd started to understand very quickly that the formality on the outside carried through on the inside. That there is a forward-facing way of being. And then you close the door and you go, oh, great. Okay, we can relax now. But that formality carries over on both sides. And that was surprising to me.
Through all this, palace silence remains deliberate. No statements, no sympathy, no signals of reconciliation. The monarchy appears united in freezing Harry out. For many, this is the tragic result of choices he made in 2020 when he not only left but also criticized the institution publicly. Now he faces life on the outside. Once a soldier prince and global favorite, he is increasingly portrayed as entitled, out of touch, and irrelevant. The crown's priority is its own survival, not Harry's redemption.
Welcome back, everybody, to Entertainment Tonight from London. Now, in just 1 week, Prince Harry is expected to return here for a charity event that also coincides with the 3-year anniversary of the Queen's death. But will it be a royal reunion or royal rejection? Our Royals correspondent Katie Nichol is here with me now. Katie, what do you make of this?
Well, I think we're all hoping it's not going to be a royal rejection because, of course, you have to remember that Harry has not seen his father for about 20 months now.
One of the big headlines that we're seeing today is that William thinks this idea of a meeting or a reconciliation is a terrible idea.
The King is very open to a reconciliation, but trust is absolutely key to that. Prince William is far less open to that idea of a reconciliation.
So where does this leave him? With fading influence, fractured family ties, and dwindling public support, Meghan stays in the shadows, calculating her next move. The children remain symbols of tension rather than unity. The UK has turned the page, and Hollywood's interest is cooling. Buckingham Palace doors are locked, and Harry's knocking grows weaker. At the end of the day, the monarchy protects itself above all. Harry, for all his attempts, now stands firmly on the outside, looking in.
What do you want? Event they were at in New York for the Time 100. There's a really interesting video doing the rounds on social media which shows their car pulling up to the event venue, and Meghan is on the side nearest to the photographers, who I presume are kind of, paparazzi or news photographers and videographers. And Harry's on the far side of the car. And he comes round and kind of tries to chivalrously put his hand on his arm, and she kind of literally swerves him and goes to very obviously greet the person that they're meeting with a big bear hug. And just honestly, the word spare part, came to my mind.
Oh,
it
Rebecca!
Like...
What Harry desires are privileges without sacrifice, the royal stature without the obligations. But the monarchy isn't structured that way. It rests on tradition, discipline, and authority, not emotions, not sympathy. And Charles, despite his instincts as a father, remains above all the sovereign. A king does not indulge power plays masked as casual family reunions. Just when it seems the situation can't grow any more unbelievable, the matter of security emerges.
The family into a no-win situation, which I actually do not think is Harry's orchestration. I don't think he has the brains to do this. I think it's Meghan who has come up with this no-win situation. And Meghan is very good at creating no-win situations for people. And I really don't see how the king could possibly win.
It's foolish at best and entitled at worst. In truth, it reveals a man still unwilling to face the results of his own decisions. This is no longer 2018. At that time, Harry and Meghan were celebrated as bold figures defying tradition. Yet that moment has passed. The dream has soured. Their Netflix projects are losing steam. Their media image is barely clinging to relevance. Meanwhile, the royal family carried on seamlessly. William, Kate, and Camilla didn't even flinch when Harry appeared. None of them voiced public support. Not a single sign. The silence alone delivered the verdict. The entrance isn't merely closed, it's locked.
William is far less open to that idea of a reconciliation, and everything I'm hearing from sources close to William is that it is simply not his priority at the moment. William has his father's best interests at heart. He wants to make sure that the king and the monarchy is not hurt, or damaged indeed, in the process of any reconciliation with Harry.
And here's the harshest truth. The timing couldn't be more devastating for Harry. Just as he imagined he might craft a redemption story through fatherhood and family ideals, the British press attacked. Headlines screamed, "Duke rejected. Charles says no." They didn't merely sting, they shredded him. The tone wasn't just derisive. It was vicious. Naturally, social media amplified it into a circus, as it always does. Memes poured out, comment sections erupted, and the majority backed Charles. People mocked the notion that Harry truly believed he could simply walk back into Buckingham Palace like nothing had ever happened.
To palliate the mainstream media, who want to keep the whole drama going for as long as possible because it provides them with content.
Of course it does. And can I ask you, Lady Colin Campbell, do you think, you've got your ear to the ground, do you think a meeting between the two men will happen this week?
I don't like predicting, so I want to be very careful.
Could it happen without us knowing?
And then there's Archie and Lilibet. For years, speculation about their births has lingered. Doubts about secrecy, surrogacy, and that ongoing absence of clarity shadow their standing in the royal succession. Bringing them into the palace might have been Harry's attempt to silence the chatter once and for all. A move meant to secure their place in royal history. Yet rather than easing speculation, it did the reverse. It reignited everything. Why at this moment? Why the sudden urgency? And why was the palace so unyielding? It almost seemed as though Harry himself reopened scars the monarchy had carefully tried to conceal.
So Richard Eden put together a great timeline on the Daily Mail about this, because I think that we forget that Harry and Meghan specifically told media at the time of Archie's birth that they didn't want to give him a title. They didn't want him to have any of the pomp because they wanted him to live a life as normal as possible. So that the timeline is important because Archie's born. He's offered a title by the palace. The palace, there was nothing. He was offered a very respectable title, and Harry and Meghan declined the title, and then told media that they wanted this child to live a normal life. Cut to Oprah Winfrey interview where Meghan sits down and accuses the palace of not giving her son, Lily hasn't been born yet, but not giving her son a title because of his...
Behind the curtain, sources insist Charles's rejection wasn't mere coldness. It stemmed from fear. Not fear of Harry himself, but fear of what those children symbolize if they step inside palace walls. Allowing them entry would unleash thorny questions about legitimacy, future duties, and even inheritance. And those are questions the monarchy has no desire to confront publicly. That's a Pandora's box they'll keep locked tight. So, where does this leave Harry? Honestly, cornered. America no longer idolizes him the way it did after his exit. Britain has firmly turned away. Meghan, ever calculating, stays silent, observing from afar, letting him absorb every blow. And the children, innocent as they remain, are trapped in the storm he created. What Harry may have expected to seem like a family reunion instead resembles a failed campaign. And the aftermath of that gamble is only beginning. Because let's face it, this isn't just about pride. It's about legacy. It's about what happens when honors vanish, trust collapses, and bridges are reduced to smoke. And the grim reality, Harry isn't merely excluded from Buckingham Palace. He's a man adrift, without belonging in either realm. The UK has pressed forward. The monarchy has bolted its gates. And in America, even the Hollywood glow that once welcomed him is fading quickly.
Is there a possibility that Harry could ever return to royal life?
Look, well, I think there's a chance for a reconciliation. The idea that we're going to see Prince Harry back on that balcony, representing the royal family overseas, or doing any royal work in an official capacity, I think it's out of the question.
Can we talk a little...
Harry's memoir, which once soared on the bestseller lists, has now lost its impact. The public appetite for his grievances has faded, and audiences are weary of hearing the same laments repeated. Each interview feels like déjà vu, recycling the same anecdotes, the same frustrations, the same misunderstood Prince angle. But people aren't buying it anymore. The narrative has shifted. He's no longer the rebel battling the establishment. Now he's viewed as the man stuck in the past while pretending he's moving forward. And frankly, it's starting to look desperate. Then there's Meghan. She has remained strategically silent yet constantly visible just outside the spotlight. Her absence from Harry's UK visit wasn't random, it was deliberate. No photos, no remarks, no missteps for critics to seize on. Yet don't assume she isn't paying attention. Reports claim Meghan tracks every development, waiting to see what unfolds. Some predict she'll shape this rejection into her next major project. Be it a Netflix feature, another tell-all interview, or even a memoir, the storyline nearly writes itself. Meghan the outsider, once again dismissed by a distant and unfeeling monarchy. But here's the truth.
But here's the
Yeah, so Richard Eden put together a great timeline on the Daily Mail about this, because I think that we forget that Harry and Meghan specifically told media at the time of Archie's birth that they didn't want to give him a title. They didn't want him to have any of the pomp because they wanted him to live a life as normal as possible. So that the timeline is important because Archie's born, he's offered a title by the palace. The palace, you know, there was nothing nasty about this. He was offered a very respectable title, and Harry and Meghan declined the title and then told media that they wanted this child to live a normal life. Cut to Oprah Winfrey interview where Meghan sits down and accuses the palace of not giving her son, Lily hasn't been born yet, but not giving her son a title because of his...
Meghan Markle feeling all the support from her kids, visiting her on set of her Netflix lifestyle series, With Love, Meghan.
The flavors are beautiful.
It's delicious.
The Duchess sharing a rare look at her family. Here's 6-year-old Archie and 4-year-old Lilibet watching mom do her thing.
Don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comment section. Share and like our channel for more update on the royal family. Kindly subscribe to our channel. Thank you.